I'll come to one uh, important topic that I'll be taking here is answer writing. So I've secured ranks 575 in my second attempt, that is last one, and this year I've secured rank 3. And one of the biggest thing that have changed this year is to work uh, particularly on the answer writing. I've extensively in the last 3 months of the after prelims to mains, I've focused majorly on the answer writing. So here I will let you know that what I have actually changed, and there is about change of increase of 110 marks overall. And I don't know the breakup right now, but I believe that in GS there needs to be a good jump. So coming to the main strategy, firstly see yourself what works for you. Don't just take it as a word. So we'll divide the session into two parts. Firstly, I'll tell about how to read a particular topic, how to perceive a particular topic, and how to prepare the notes, then how to write an answer. If I talk about, let's say we have 4 papers in general studies, so just see, let's say you're taken GS2. So I used to divide into a 3 parts. Firstly, the polity, the core polity part, and second is the governance part, and third is the international relationships. Then what I have to used to do that I try to find out what are the constitutional issues, right? Let's say the privacy issue that was so much new due to the Aadhaar. Then the issue of simultaneous election is there. Then we have an issue of electoral reforms, or then we have an issue of let's say uh, right to life. What you do, just see just about 10-15 important judgments in post independence. Try to make a note of it. Whenever I think we all are preparing very sincerely, and I believe that everybody is aware of this common things that were how to write a dimensions, the 5-6 points. I believe that we all know. So we all know how to write a English, a good English that can maybe linked to the general studies, but just make sure that examiner should understand that it's not a simple English, it's about you are giving a good argument. Have your argument substantiated with some facts, some case studies, some judgments. While you are writing an answer, just say that this Puthuswamy case, the Supreme Court judgment is this. You don't have to do it for everything. Just 10-15 judgments, have a note of it. When we come to, let's second part, the governance part, try to find out the keywords. There are about hardly 20-25 keywords in the paper 2, I would say. Talk about poverty, hunger, then self-help group, he has already spoken about, then NGOs. What you do, just let's say NGO. I used to, like Vajid, I used to make a mind map that there are about 5-6 things that you need to prepare, and if you see last 5 years paper, about every alternate year they are asking something on NGO, something they are asking on NGO. Prepare good definition. Then some important facts. How much are there? Or let's say some good NGOs that are working very good, let's say Pratham or the ESA report, or some good NGOs that you have that you can quote in the examination, and it will also help you while you are preparing for essays or writing essays. You will have some good examples in the case studies. After important facts, have some good case studies, not for GS, but it will help you in GS3 while you are quoting some examples in your paper and also the essay. Then try to have the dimension, how you can link it, but maybe the governance, maybe you can talk about the relationship between the executive and NGO, or the issues related to current issues. Like some NGOs are banned last year due to FCRA. Just try to make in a way that at the end of it you have to revise. The revision is the most important key in this examination. Have that kind of a mind map for each and every keyword. So when you are going into an examination, you will have a 1 hour break, let's say 2 hour break. From GS1, after you will be having 2 hour break, then you will be writing GS2. In that 2 hour, you should be able to revise everything in 1 hour. So you can only do it when you have such a concise notes, something that you can revise at that point of time and in such a short span of time. And have some good facts. It may be looking too much for you right now, but just good definition, important facts, one or two important case studies might be. Then the dimension you can link it with maybe education, health, where they are doing good, what they are doing right now. Similarly for other topics, you can poverty. I think they have asked, UPSC has asked twice or thrice in last 4 years. So this is the way, this is the smart work you need to do. Hard work is everybody doing. I believe that every UPSC aspirant is somewhere putting the hard work. But then you have to crack an examination. Just see what UPSC wants to know. What UPSC is expecting out of you. This is the way I used to do for each and every keyword. Especially GS2 and 3. And especially for the GS3, just have good facts. This is the key. When you are writing a GS3 answer, try to make good facts. You can take help of economic survey or the Niti Aayog's 3-year agenda plan. And I've used it extensively, not any other source. I've used this extensively to make my notes, to have that kind of a small booklet. I used to have small pocket notebook so that wherever I go, I will be able to see, okay, this is an issue. Let's say I have to write something on women. I try to find what are the issues in the women and then what are the important facts or the labor force participation ratio or the issue in the armed forces. So make it. It will really help you while you are preparing for preparing for mains examination and especially while you are revising it. Further, then let's come to ethics paper. While you're preparing for ethics paper, try to find out again the important words that are written in your syllabus. Your syllabus is the Bible for you. Just see that there are words like ethics, morals, integrity, non-partisanship, neutrality, objectivity. Write it down. Every word you have to write it down have some good definition. If not available on internet, try to make your own. Have some good definitions of ethics. It's seriously one of the most important things that I did this year that I was not doing earlier. And try to make some 2 or 3 good examples for each of the keywords. You don't have to prepare different examples. Try to have about set of 25 examples that you can easily do and try to relate those examples with different keywords so that you will be able to use it. And our memory is some limited. You can't have remember everything in the paper. So constrain that. Constrain your resources. Constrain the things that you have to cram. That's why this mind mapping is important. Then coming to finding out the facts, that's also very important. Don't just run for that, finding some facts. Try to find such fact that you can use interchangeably in different topics. Let's say I prepared one fact that was written in the economic survey that due to climate change, India is suffering about $10 billion. There's one more fact that was written is that about rice productivity has been decreased by some 24% and the wheat productivity is decreased by the 15%. So this is a fact that you can write in different questions. Let's say question is on the agriculture, or question is on the climate change, or question might be on, let's say you are writing some essay. So try to find such a fact that you can use in different questions so that the burden should decrease. You don't have that much. I personally don't have that much memory to remember everything. So what I used to do, I used to find some of the things that I can use at the different places and keep revising. Keep revising and keep revising. This is the one important key for this examination, and it will really help you if you keep revising the stuff that you have prepared. And have this kind of mind map for each topic, even for GS1. Let's say you are talking about world history. Just see what are the causes of the World War I, or try to find out how it impacted in different dimensions. In a similar way, talk about industrial revolution, talk about the German unification, make for the Italy unification. It will really help you. It will really help you a lot. Well, you are revising in the last moment, in the last 1 week of your GS mains. It's really important because at that point of time we don't know what to study because there is huge to study. So just make sure have your notes very concise, and you should so that you should be able to study and you know that what to write and what not to write in the examination. And GS1. Okay. Let's move forward to the how to write an answer. First and most important thing, read the question thrice. That's a simple thing, most common mistake that people do, or I also used to do in first 2 years. But what I used to do, I try to see a question and try to find out some 2-3 keywords and write whatever I know about it, without understanding what examiner wants to know. Just read the question twice. I'm telling you, when you read same question twice, you will be able to figure out something different that you are thinking that while reading the first time. Whenever you see a question that you have to just read twice. Just make sure that you are writing a right answer. And while writing an answer, we have a tendency that we study so much, we have lot of content to write. Then what we used to do that put everything that we know. Just try to read a question in between. Just see that whatever I'm writing, is it linked to the question or not? Whether the examiner wants to know it or not. Only then write it. Otherwise, forget about getting the marks. He will penalize you. Why you are writing? I haven't asked this question from you. And then last part is the conclusion part. While you're going for the conclusion, again see the question. That's why just read the question as much as you can, as much as times you can. Because at the end of the day, you will be judged for a simple fact that you answered what was asked in the question or not. Read it as much as times as you can. I'm not saying that read it again and again, just writing an answer, but at least twice or thrice read the question while you answer the question. Then coming forward, first part is the introduction. So I find out some 3 to 4 ways to start an introduction. What I find out that generally when it's the first thing that we have to write while after seeing a question, and most of the time we stuck how to start a question. This is the first thing that generally stops us even during the answer writing practice. So here I would give you some 3-4 ways in which you can start a particular question. First was the definition of, then second is recent event. I'll explain everything, Sorry for the handwriting on the board, but I'll explain everything. Maybe you will be able to understand. First part is the definition. So let's say, question, just see what was the crux of a question, what he wants to know. Especially when you are writing a question on, let's say, some of the important concepts of geography. Let's say cyclone, there's a question on cyclone, that why cyclone come at this particular place. Just first write a definition. Then start a question. That it automatically brings a flow, that when you write a definition, just move forward to what was asked and start a question. Or let's say you started with NGO. Make sure that examiner know that you know what is an NGO. And it's not that easy. I'll tell you that while you are preparing, you might be feeling that I can write definition, but if I ask you today, tell me definition of self-help group, I was not able to answer when I was asked same question while I was sitting at that point, that side of a stage. So have some good definition of important keywords. UPSC repeats question. I always believe UPSC repeats question and always believe repeats question. Just have important definitions of each of the important keywords that UPSC tend to ask. It will really help you a lot. Let's say there's one good YouTube video also by Forum IAS that on the definition part that I have learned from here. Then let's say our second way is to start with some recent events. Let's say this is a particular way of writing a starting an answer when you have a question particularly on from the current affairs part. Let's say question is on the simultaneous election. Let's say. So st- if I have to write a question today, I might start with either with a definition what is simultaneous election, so that whenever I'm writing my body, I will be able to know. The examiner know that at least he knows simultaneous election. Otherwise, what I'll do, if I'm not able to recollect the definition of it, I'll start with that recently Prime Minister have said this, that we need to have the simultaneous, or the President of India in his parliamentary speech have mooted the idea of simultaneous election that can benefit India. So then I'll just writing just 2 lines, you have to shift it to the what was the requirement of the question. That's the most important. Don't roam here and there from the basics. Then third was like facts and figures. You can start it. Let's say question is on the hunger, or question is something on NGOs. You can, if you are not able to recollect what is the definition or what is the recent event from which this question was asked, you can start with some facts. Let's say India is suffering from this much hunger, or this much people are malnutrition. So just give a start such that examiner know that you are just not writing simple English. You know the facts, you know the things, and your answer would be an intelligent answer. It's not just an answer just for the sake of writing an answer. And that's what I believe, that while you are writing an answer, you shouldn't bluff examiner. He knows how people bluff, and many people bluff. Even if you don't know, don't bluff. I agree that we need to attempt question to get at least some kind of mark. You may be feeling that if we leave the question completely, you will not be able to get even single mark. But see that if you are bluffing a question, he came to know, obviously he'll came to know, because there's only few questions that people generally are not able to write. He came to know, I was not able to write let's say question on impact of climate change on cryosphere. I was not able to figure out what is cryosphere. So don't bluff in these questions, because he knows that there will be few questions that he needs to see. But I would say don't leave it complete blank. Just try to find out other keywords in that. Write some 2-3 lines and leave it to him, that if he wants to give, he'll give. I wrote just a definition of climate change and the impacts of climate change, just that. Just one flowchart like this and then one definition. I left the question blank afterwards. So this is my sincere advice to you. Don't bluff. And while you are writing an introduction, that's the only purpose, that while it will give you a start at least, and you will not stuck in between that what to write. You can chart out your own, but these are some of the way that I find out. This fourth one is the location. This is a way that I started, that I used to write with the history and geography questions. Let's say question is on the Indus Valley civilization. Question is on why the Indus Valley civilization declined. So you can start with any way, but I used to do that. I'll write that Indus Valley civilization, the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent, and it was alive from this point of time to this point of time. So it gives a very good starting. He knows that you know Indus Valley civilization. At least you have at least communicated him that you are not going to write simple English. You know what to write. So this is some of the ways that I started. And last part is then you're not able to figure out how to start. You don't know any other way is not working with you. Last part is the interlinking. There will be at least 2-3 parts generally UPSC asks. In every question there are generally 2-3 parts. Just interlink them. Just write good English in that. Try to interlink them and then immediately come to the body. Comes to body and answer it. Don't write much in the introduction. Then if you are not very comfortable in the rest of the 4 ways, so you are not able to understand how to start, just interlink the things so that you are able to communicate that at least I know the interlinking. I'll be answering each one of them. Then coming to the next part, it will be see what is the question. Let's say generally when you see a question, it will have at least 2 3 parts. Generally, it will have at least 2 3 parts. Break the question into at least 2 3 parts. Into 2 3 parts and have that visibility. Maybe I don't remember the questions right now, but whatever question you are choosing, question you are writing, try to break the question into 2 3 parts. It will help you 2 3 ways. Firstly, you know that at least you will be checking yourself that you answered every part or not. And secondly, examiner also know that, and this you have to comprehend with the visibility. What I mean here that while you are writing an answer, try to make subheadings of those subparts. Let's say there are 3 subparts. If you're not able to make it out that how to, how to show that where you are writing someone, just write simply like subpart 1, no, not that way, but let's say theories of decline or important factors of decline. Just talk about this is one factor, this is second factor. Don't write that subpart, but that particular crux of the issue that he wants to know. Let's say 3 issues he wants to know, write 3 issues. So that examiner know which part you have handled where. So while he is checking, he'll be understanding and he'll be immediately came to know that you have answered everything. And that actually boosts the mark. That actually makes sure that you wrote everything, and it's easy for him or her also that you have done everything. Make sure that to convince the examiner that you are a sincere student, aspirant, and you have written everything. You're not bluffing anything, and you're writing everything that he wants to know. So whenever you see a question, break the question into 2 3 parts. Even if it's not asking some 2 3 subparts, try to break it yourself. It will be dealing with some issue then. Try to break the issue into some 5 6 dimensions. Write those dimensions, write those dimensions. Let's say you're dealing with some subpart or the one issue. Then start with, in this also write some point wise, 1 2 3. It will automatically increase your content. While you are writing an answer, the examiner will actually feel that you have written good, the content will be very good in that. Then just don't write the point, just let's say impact of, again the same question, the impact of climate change on agriculture. You're first dealing it with that, what are the impacts, just talk about that this is productivity. Then write that fact that as per economic survey, this is the productivity was decreased by this much. Second point, let's say you're talking about that overall economical impact, then talk about that $10 billion fact. Whenever you are writing some point, don't make sure that you communicate that it's not just an opinion. It's not an opinion, or it's not a simple English. You are writing it based upon some intelligent work, or at least you have something to bank upon to say so. You are not saying something because you believe so. You are saying something because some committee says so, because some expert opinion says so, or some important, some renowned personality says so, that in which you believe in. And one more part, I don't know that is right or not, but that I believe that while you're writing an answer, just see where this question was asked, from where this question was asked. Let's say in last to last year, similar question was asked in 2 papers, like urban floods. It was asked in GS1, and similarly it was asked in GS3 also. Although, like others, I have also attempted the same answer in both the papers. Almost same answer, because I thought here is similar question they were asking. So, but just think why this question was asked. Then I've discussed with other toppers of last year. I find out that why. Then I've recognized one thing in all of them, If they have answered differently in both the question, just see, while whenever examiner is coming, he will be having some academic background, he will be given some keywords, or whenever question is being made, it will be from the UPSC syllabus. So they told me that when you are answering, let's say urban floods in GS1, try to write from the point of the urban infrastructure or the urban problems or the show that social issues or the highlight that the geographical interlinking. I don't know that it works or not, but I sincerely believe in that. If you're writing the same question in the GS3, try to write from the perspective of disaster management. And when you think that way, you will able to see that actually he wants to know. There will be some keyword also. There will be some keyword that you will feel that okay, he wants to know more about disaster management or the infrastructural issue in the country while you're answering the GS3. I'm not very sure this is right, completely right or not, but I believe that we should answer based upon answer the question based upon on which paper it was asked. See, where it was asked, there will be a topic under which it was asked. UPSC is not going to make a question, some random question. It is going to make a question from that particular syllabus, and it will be going to give you give some keywords or some model and something like that to the examiner based upon that. So basic remain the same, answer whatever asked in the question, not whatever you know, but this is something that you can bank upon. Then moving forward, make as much as flowchart, not in every question, but let's say you are writing 20 questions, try to make it into 5, 6 questions. In 2, 3 questions you can make some flowchart, in 2, 3 you can make some diagrams. Make your paper more interactive, make it easy for examiner that he knows that you are writing a good answer. You decrease his or her burden while he is checking. Although she will be checking it very sincerely, but I believe that while you are writing an answer, try to make it more and more interactive so that it will be easy for him. And also you will be able to write much more while you are making this diagram, because you have already divided into wrote some definition, then sub parts. So you may not be able to cater everything in those 7.5 minutes or 8 minutes that you have in the paper. And secondly, it will communicate him that you have written everything. You don't let's say one sub part, or you want to end a question with some solutions. You may not have that much time or space for it. Just if you are not having any कुछ भी समझ नहीं आ रहा है, तो just see the right solution, have some that 5, 6 way, just here also make box and end it, so that you are communicating that you have also given the solution, although it was not asked in the paper, but you want to give it a solution, have a problem solving approach of every question, and you will be writing much more that you would be writing without it, or with flowchart you will be writing much better then moving forward, then the last part is the conclusion part. So while writing conclusion, just see what was asked in the paper. One way is writing a conclusion is to give solutions of the problem what was asked in. But I would say the better way would be to read the question again. Read question again, especially in the ethics paper. Whether you are writing case studies or the part A, just read question again. Read it very carefully. When you try to write the complete crux of your answer in those 2 lines. It really matters. Because while you are answering a question in ethics, examiner wants to know what you will do finally. What you want to do, what you wanted to say in the whole answer. And you will be able to communicate your thoughts with a much more clarity. So try to write conclusions, especially in GS4. Don't leave any question without conclusion. Try to write it. Even if you are not able to write complete answer, just try to end it by writing 1.5 page with conclusion. It's better to write one good conclusion rather than writing more points. especially in ethics. In other questions also, just try to give him a very crisp conclusion that what you wanted to convey, or what was the just gist of the whole answer that you wanted to say in the those sub parts or the complete question. And that's all about the how to write an answer or how to prepare particular topic. Although I will be sharing my answer copies very soon. I've already given it to scanning, so I'll be sharing it on the different platforms. When you see those answer copies, just try to see this video again. Maybe it will be uploaded on the Vision IAS, or just try to make a sense out of it why I have said so. You will be able to find out that how I have written different questions, and you will be able to see that, or you may be able to inculcate that how to actually implement all these things. Right now I was not having proper questions, so it was very difficult for me to write properly or to actually explain it. But just see this with the question papers. You will be able to make sense out of it. Now that's all for the mains. Then I'll take only 5 minutes now. I'm talking about the personality test right now. I've got very average marks last year, 154. So although this year also it's not that great, but good enough to get a good rank, 176. I've secured this year in interview. Don't go too much in coaching institutes while you're preparing for personality tests. I did a mistake last year. I went to about 13, 14 different institutions. I've given 15 mock interviews, and that was a doomsday. They were, when you go to different people, they'll give you different opinions, and ultimately personality is a test of knowing thyself. Knowing thyself. It's all about who you are. Board just wants to know why you want to be a civil servant, why you are coming here, and the complete depth. Why you did this at that particular moment, why you changed this, why you did this, just that. Rest, I would say, I believe that if you're covered first two stages, you know about the current affairs, you know about the knowledge. Rest, Vajit has covered very well that this is something that I've changed this year. Try to make good groups. Try to have groups, discuss the issues. It will not only help you in getting different points, but also improve how to communicate that point. So ultimately, it's the communication process. The personality test is not about the knowledge. It's about how you're communicating. Have good groups in your interview stage. Make good, strong opinion on strong facts or figures or something like that on each and every issue that is going on at that particular point of time. And more importantly, whatever written is in your DAF. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.